My name is Clayton Leinneweber, and I am the director of Messiah's Mansion. Messiah's Mansion is a full-scale model of the sanctuary like Moses built in the wilderness. If you would take and you would look at the Exodus when they left Egypt and they were on their way to Canaan back in Moses' day, and if you would take and read the account, you'll find they came to Mount Sinai. And at Mount Sinai, God gave them directions and plans to build a sanctuary. In fact, it's referred to as, let them make me a sanctuary that I might dwell among them. So the sanctuary that they built, that's the one that we duplicated. You're going to find out we did it to the 18-inch cubit. So the 18-inch cubit makes the sanctuary 15 feet tall. And the actual sanctuary itself is 45 feet in length and 15 feet high and 15 feet wide. It has 2 rooms as the most holy place and the holy place. And the actual courtyard is 150 feet long and 75 feet wide. We travel with this, and we've been to over 80 locations with the sanctuary in the last 7 years. And the sanctuary has been to Hawaii, it has been to Jamaica, it's been to Canada, and there are some other places in the near future that we're going to be going to as well. The sanctuary, as we travel with it, has many pluses and positives that you may be interested in. Many times I've gone to these locations, and the ministers from all different denominations and faith have come to the sanctuary with their congregation and said that we have been studying the sanctuary, and thank you for bringing it because this is the topic we've been dealing with. And so we find that right now it's something that everybody seems to be interested in it. So we're excited about that. Now, as we set the sanctuary up, there's 3 main things that I want to make sure that you receive when you come. First of all, how it looks. You know, we talked about the size is the same size it would have been in the Moses day. Even the furniture is the same size that it should have been. In fact, the furniture that we did, we have the color. It's not the real gold, but we have the color. So you're going to see the size, the shape, and the color. As much detail as the Bible has given for that piece of furniture, we try to have in the furniture. So you get to see that. Plus, we're going to show you how they used that piece of furniture, when they came in, and where they put the blood here upon the horns and this sort of thing. I'm going to be able to walk you through step by step of the services in the sanctuary. The sanctuary had 2 main services. It had what was called the daily service and had what's called the yearly service. Now, the daily service is what they did every single day. At the end of a year, they have what was called the yearly service, which was also known as the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur, the cleansing of the sanctuary. These services that they did there was done once a year, and that's when they closed the service. What we have found is that whole cycle is a yearly cycle. That whole cycle repeated itself every year. And I will show you, as you're going through, that that's a timeline of Earth's history. Let me give you an idea what I'm referring to. When you first come to the sanctuary and you're there, you come to the gate. The gate itself is sitting there, and the gate's open, and you come into the gate, and the gate opens at 9 o'clock. And so at 9 o'clock, they're killing their lamb at 9 o'clock. This is the high priest. He's doing this work at 9 o'clock for all the congregation. Then you'll find out at 3 o'clock, they close the sanctuary, and the high priest is killing another lamb. But between 9 and 3, the Israelites would bring their lambs in and come to the sanctuary and bring their offerings to the sanctuary. You're going to find that Mark chapter 15 talks about Jesus' death. Jesus was taken and He was nailed to the cross at 9 o'clock. And Jesus hung on the cross till 3 o'clock and He dies. You're going to see what I'm saying is that service that opened every day at 9 o'clock and they brought their offerings in and closed at 3 o'clock was a prophecy foretelling what was going to take place with Christ dealing with the sacrificial service. That's what I'm referring to. As you see the workings of the priest and the high priest, and you see the workings of the Israelites, you're seeing history being foretold, or now history that has been in the past. And so as we walk through that yearly cycle, you're going to see that whole year cycle ends in the most holy place. And then they deal with the scapegoat at the very end, and the scapegoat is taken outside of camp. That is, the sin is being taken outside of camp. I'm going to show you where we are in Earth's history dealing with that time prophecy of the sanctuary. Now, the third thing, which I think is very important, You see, because the Bible tells us that we are temples. We are temples that God has designed to live inside of. And you find that in Corinthians 3:16 and 6:19 refers to that we're the temple where God dwells and the Holy Spirit dwells. So we're temples. So the question that most people ask, why should I even look at the Old Testament sanctuary? That's all the Old Testament. First of all, it is the Old Testament foretelling the future, so it's actually stuff that's relevant for us today, as you'll see in the timeline. But second of all, is what took place in that earthly sanctuary is symbolic for what's going to take place in this sanctuary. And so when you come to the sanctuary, I will also open your eyes to the relevance it is for you and I today. Why is it important for me to understand the sanctuary, how it applies to me today? So when you come to the sanctuary, you'll not only see the full size, the historical, you won't only see that, you'll see how it represents the footprints of Christ in Earth's history and how it applies to you and I today. So I hope to see you when we come into your area. God bless.